VRMC Healthy Connections. I'm Donna McMullen, your host, and we want to thank you all for joining us again. I want to go ahead and during the break we were talking about some of the folks that we are just thankful that in this community have done so much for us, and especially thank the foundation for the helmets that they provided. The hospital foundation provided the bike helmets for the kids' bike rodeo that we had. And now it's my pleasure to introduce Miss Melody Sykes, and she's going to be talking to us about a stroke training opportunity that is available to the public. Do you want to tell us a little bit more about that?
It is called the Stroke Champion Campaign, and the National Institutes of Health has actually chosen Arkansas for the 2010 Stroke Champion Campaign. So it's through the National Institutes of Health. And what's going to happen is on October 27th from 8 to 1 in the Bruce Klein Training Center, they're going to have a remote broadcast where they train people in the community about stroke so that they can go to their organizations like Kiwanis Club, Girl Scouts, Boy Scouts, and just different places within the community to train people about how to recognize a stroke.
Wonderful.
Because we have a large amount of strokes. I'm going to show my little piece of paper here. You may see these in the hospital if you visit the hospital to visit a friend or a relative. And if you do and you're interested in being a stroke champion, please pick one up and turn it in.
Those are located at all of the volunteer stations.
Yes, all the information desks have them. It's really an awesome program. You may have heard about our Arkansas Saves program that we have going on through the Klein Emergency Center with our educator, Delbert McCutcheon. And
who was the Nurse Facilitator of the Year for the state of Arkansas?
Yes, he was the Nurse Facilitator for the Year for the state of Arkansas. We were so excited about that. He does a fabulous job. So anyway, we just wanted to mention this, that if you see these at the hospital, pick one up, fill it out, get it back to us, and
is there anyone they can call?
They can actually call Delbert at 508-7992, or my number is also on there as well, 508-3480.
And what else are you going to share with us this afternoon?
Oh, well, you know, it's Halloween time.
And right around the
Ghosts and Goblins galore.
Ghosts and Goblins. We start celebrating Halloween October 1st at the ER because we like it.
I was kind of hoping Kelly would wear her Halloween scrubs today, but
they're giving me a hard time. I had some really bright Halloween scrubs on yesterday, but I toned it down for TV.
They were pretty orange. I think if you'd worn your spider, though, it would have been better. Yes. She has a huge spider she wears on her head. It's really cute.
How we keep our smiles at VRMC.
We really want to take care of our kids. You know, they're our best and most exciting resource that we have in our community are our children. And we don't think about things like trick-or-treating being dangerous, but they can be. Costumes need to be where children can see out of the mask. They need to be able to see out of them. They need to be reflective. Kids don't need to go by themselves. Unless they're teenagers. Obviously, teenagers are not going to want mom and dad to tag along with them. Sometimes they let Aunt Mel, but not very often. You want to be very careful if you're driving out on Halloween night because, you know, the little kids are so excited. They're running from house to house, and they're really not watching where they're going. So it's up to us as the grown-ups to do that.
Sure. And if those costumes are too long or those masks are covering their eyes, there's another.
Exactly.
We don't want the kids coming into the emergency, the Klein Emergency
That's right.
Center.
Unless they're here to trick or treat.
Because I want to trick or treat. I don't want to have to be, you know, taking care of hurt little children. Every child should have a flashlight because we trick or treat in the dark most of the time. And so if they have a flashlight, even if they're having, you know, if they don't have a mask on, if they have a flashlight, it provides a little more illumination for them. A lot of our streets are not well lit. We are a rural community, so, you know, sometimes the street lights are just not there. So they need to have a flashlight. If you have a jack-o'-lantern on your front porch, it's better to put in like the little battery-powered tea lights or a flashlight to light it instead of you know, a candle, because little kids could trip on it and start their costume on fire or start your house on fire, and we wouldn't want that either.
Little fairy princesses that have the ruffles and feathers and boas.
Yes,
you bet.
Yes.
You bet.
And also it's best if you decorate your house to not decorate the path to your door so that there's less things for little kids to trip on because they're going to be running around and having a good time. So.
Those are really useful tips for things I would not have thought about as far as decorating the steps to the door. That's something I usually always do.
Well, you know, if you're 4 years old and you've already got, you know, this big costume on that you're,
Yeah.
you know, it's
Yeah.
kind of hard to see what's
Sure.
around you.
Sure. So what we're saying again then, we're recommending to moms and dads and grandpas then to go ahead, be practical, make sure the kids can see, make sure they've got a flashlight, that their costume's not too long, and caution your children, they need to be with an adult.
Exactly.
And crossing streets, drivers, be more careful.
Well,
Yes.
and even though you're going to be making a lot of frequent stops, be sure and make sure your children are restrained in the car, that they have their seatbelts on. Of course, you know, seatbelts save lives. Everyone knows that. But sometimes it's easy to forget I'm just going to the next house. But if you know, if somebody runs out in front of you and you have to put on the brakes fast, you could end up, you know.
Good point, Kelly. Absolutely.
Absolutely. We love our community, but guys, we want to see you out in the community. We don't want to see you at work, so.
Yeah.
And don't forget, if you want the trick-or-treaters, you know, they look for those porch lights on. So, you know, if you're expecting some trick-or-treaters and no one's coming, remember to turn your porch light on. That's kind of like the beacon for trick-or-treaters.
And they will
So,
be there.
Yeah, lots of candy.
Remind your children not to eat candy until you have a chance to kind of look it over. You don't want them to eat anything that's open. So if you're going to give to trick-or-treaters, buy prepackaged gifts, candies, that kind of thing for them.
Healthy choices
healthy
would
choices
be wonderful.
The kids will love the
granola
healthy
bars,
choices.
those
Yeah.
kinds of things. Yeah, they love them.
Yeah.
That's all we eat at Clyde University, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I've been back there in that break room. Yeah.
We eat very well, don't we?
Yeah. I wanted to also bring up too, when during our break we were talking with Lacey and Melody, and you're actually getting ready right after our show today to head down to Little Rock for some more training.
We are. A little bit more training on our registry, and I think it probably will be more for whoever's putting the information. I think it's going to be on our computer system, our
Right,
computer
on
software.
Intrax, yeah.
All
So-
and this all involves the trauma
Yes.
designation.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
All right.
And these are things that aren't required, but we sure want to be a part of so that we kind of
Oh, that's
know.
wonderful.
We definitely want to be, at least, if we can't be a step ahead, we want to be in step with what the state of Arkansas is doing for a trauma designation. So anything that we can do, Lacey, I don't even know anybody named Tracy, that's funny. Lacey has gone to a coding class, I've gone to a coding class. We're going, luckily, to get to go to this one together. It just seems like everything right now in the emergency center is targeted towards getting that trauma designation. And it's going to be, when do you think we'll be able to ask them to come and survey us?
I would like to shoot for the spring of 2011. There are still a few things that we're working on. We're trying to pull together policies. I actually have our transfer agreements. The majority of those are in place now, and what that is an agreement with our level 1 and level 2 trauma centers for us to be able to transfer our patients to those institutes. Those are actually already in place. But there's still a few things that we need to pull together, and we need to let the state finish telling us a few other things that are going to be required. So hopefully in the spring.
Hopefully in the spring. And am I correct in saying too that because this is all new, the trauma designation throughout Arkansas, the state of Arkansas, that the folks putting together everything are still sort of getting all of their ducks in a row as to what this all means and what should be done at each level of trauma designation?
That is correct. We went to a trauma conference at the end of last year, and they were even talking then about, you know, that things were, committees were just started to get in place, and you know, just getting to where they're getting some of that stuff organized. So every hospital is kind of in the same place on that and trying to get together and learn all of their protocols and all of that. So it'll take a little while, but we'll be ready, and you know, we'll provide what we need for the community, because we're here for you every time.
Every time. Yep. Every patient, every time.
Exactly.
We are here. And also it sounds as though we're ahead of the curve, just as we're ahead of the curve with our electronic medical record. We're moving forward with that, and that all ties in with this as well. And we're just way ahead, and we're so lucky to be in the position that we are at BRMC.
It's a great place to work, and it's a great place to come to for your family. So we appreciate all of our patients and our
Very
customers and our
exciting place to
community.
We give great care, and we love to give quality care. All of those that are sitting with me today, I want y'all to know, are absolutely the best-hearted people you could ever possibly meet.
That's so sweet.
And that is how they care for all of you. If you happen to bring yourself, or in the case with the children that were in the bus that were rolled over, the compassion, the care. As an observer, which is the role that I played that day, it was absolutely wonderful to see such excellent care, such loving care. These are moms, these are Girl Scout leaders that have children of their own and grandchildren, and each one of those children and adults that came through our door were treated like family. So we are very fortunate to have BRMC here in Mountain Home, Arkansas.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you
Ms.
very
Donna.
much for joining me today for our very first BRMC Healthy Connection show. And we want to thank all of you for tuning in. Please join us next time for BRMC Healthy Connections. We'll keep you informed, we'll keep you updated, we'll share the news. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.